everyone that online participation is allowed for colleagues following remotely as established by the Rules Committee. Today's first item of agenda falls within the fact-finding investigation activities on the projection of Italy and European countries in the Indo-Pacific, and is the hearing of the ambassador of the Republic of Korea, Ambassador Lee. On behalf of the entire committee, I would like to thank the ambassador and his colleagues for taking part in this hearing. And considering the limited time we have available, I would leave the floor to Ambassador Lee for his remarks.
Onorevole Paolo Formentini, Chairman of the Subcommittee for Indo-Pacific, distinguished members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the invitation to this meaningful gathering. I hope my presence at today's hearing contributes to a better understanding of the Indo-Pacific region and strengthening cooperation between Korea and Italy. Today I will begin with an overall assessment of the Indo-Pacific geopolitical landscape along with Korea's Indo-Pacific strategy and propose avenues for furthering Korea-Italy collaboration within the context of the Indo-Pacific strategy. As you are aware, the stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region are directly linked to the global security and economy. Currently, the region faces various challenges, including North Korea, the South China Sea, Taiwan, and the strategic competition between the US and China. Firstly, the North Korean issue remains a significant concern. Their nuclear and missile threats extend beyond the Korean peninsula, posing a global security risk. North Korea has conducted 6 nuclear tests, reaching a significant level of nuclear weapon manufacturing capabilities. In 2023 alone, they launched intercontinental ballistic missiles 5 times and military reconnaissance satellites 3 times, totaling over 30 ballistic missile launches. The possibilities of additional missile launches and nuclear tests remain highly likely, especially given upcoming events like the elections in Korea, April, and the US, November this year. Moreover, the US White House announced that in December last year and in January this year, Russia launched missiles received from North Korea in Ukraine. There are speculations that Russia supports North Korea's recent military reconnaissance satellite launches. This underscores the close connection between the security of Indo-Pacific region and Europe. We strongly condemn all nuclear and missile activities by North Korea, as well as all the weapon deals with North Korea, emphasizing the immediate need for cessation. North Korea must choose the path of denuclearization and human rights improvement. Secondly, heightened tensions in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait are evident. In the South China Sea, there is a growing trend of maritime conflict between China and the Philippines. Regarding the Taiwan issue, China has been emphasizing the possibility of using forces under its One China policy and has been strengthening its assertive stance. Especially with the elections of the pro-US candidate Lai Ching-te in the January presidential election this year, there is a speculation that cross-strait tension between Taiwan and China may escalate further. Peace and stability in the South China Sea, along with the rules-based international order, are directly linked to prosperity both regionally and globally. Korea, as a key nation utilizing the South China Sea route, emphasized the importance of ensuring freedom of navigation and overflight in the region. Furthermore, peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait are crucial for the peace and stability of the Korean Peninsula. We are hoping for peaceful development in cross-strait relations between Taiwan and China, contributing to regional harmony and security. Thirdly, the U.S.-China strategic competition extends beyond security into trade and advanced technology, creating a complex global landscape. The U.S.-China relations are affecting global dynamics, making it crucial for nations like Korea and Italy to adapt to this evolving landscape. Amidst this situation, the U.S. and China have been exploring dialogue to restrain mutual escalation, shown by the bilateral summit between their leaders during last year's APEC summit. While there is an ongoing pursuit of the de-risking strategy by the U.S. to manage geopolitical competition and trade tension, intense rivalry between the U.S. and China is expected to persist, especially in advanced technology sectors such as semiconductors and AI, which will shape the landscape of future industrial markets. Our response to these challenges in the Indo-Pacific region should be based on inclusivity, trust, and mutual benefit. Collaboration with partners sharing our values is essential to uphold a rules-based international order. In this context, Korea introduced its Indo-Pacific strategy at the end of 2022, followed by Jack 3, emphasizing strengthening the rules-based international in the regional economy and security, and active diplomatic contributions. Notable achievements include the first standalone trilateral summit among Korea, US, Japan, held at Camp David last August. The establishment of the trilateral Indo-Pacific dialogue launched at the trilateral summit, and the Korea's attendance at NATO summit for the second consecutive year, along with Japan, are conveying a consistent message of upholding the rules-based international order. Additionally, Korea expanded its engagement in the Indo-Pacific region by taking the initiative for Korea-ASEAN solidarity and hosting the first ever Korea-Pacific Island Summit in last May, boosting Korea's official development assistance to record levels in the region. Korea's Indo-Pacific strategy is not aimed at excluding any specific nation, but seek cooperation with all partners sharing our vision and principles. While Italy has not explicitly outlined its Indo-Pacific strategy, it consistently has expressed commitment to upholding the rules-based international order and contributing to stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. President Mattarella's state visit to Korea last November and the invitation extended to President Yoon reflect Italy's commitment to expanding involvement in the Pacific region. Korea and Italy share not only common values, but also a strategic position and economic scale, making the potential for collaboration extensive. The bilateral trade between the two countries surpassed $13 billion, reaching a record high, and the annual visitation of Korean tourists to Italy is estimated to be 1 million. In particular, the 140th anniversary of Korea-Italy diplomatic relations this year presents an opportunity to strengthen our strategic partnership and chart new directions for cooperation in the context of Indo-Pacific strategy. Firstly, substantial cooperation in economic security and emerging issues in science and technology should deepen. Space exploration stands out as a promising area, given Korea's successful launch of the satellite through its indigenously developed launch vehicle, Nuriho, and Italy's expertise in satellite development. Collaboration in AI, a global concern, presents another avenue where Korea and Italy can work together. Secondly, collaboration should expand to address regional dynamics and global challenges. Italy's Morosini frigate sailing through the Indo-Pacific region showcased a commitment to freedom of navigation and respect for international law. Korea aims to play a broader role in the Indo-Pacific region beyond the Korean Peninsula, seeking collaboration with Italy based on the Korea-EU Indo-Pacific partnership. Lastly, as we congratulate Italy on assuming the G7 presidency this year, I kindly request that Italy actively lead discussions on the Indo-Pacific region during the upcoming G7 summit in Puglia in June. Building on the momentum from last year's G7 summit in Japan, Italy, as the host in 2024, can ensure robust and fair deliberations on Indo-Pacific related issues. Thank you.
Grazie mille, Ambasciatore.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. And we have some colleagues who have joined us in the meantime. If there are any comments or questions on behalf of colleagues, we have some colleagues who are connected remotely online. We have Honorable Member Rosato who would like to ask a question. Thank you, Honorable Orsini. Thank you, Ambassador, for your remarks, which were very insightful. I would like to ask you for some further information on cooperation with the nations in the region, considering alliances from an economic and a military standpoint. So in particular, relations that you have with India and relations that you may have with Australia.
Ci sono altre domande? Se no
Are there other questions? If not, in the meantime, we can hear the ambassador's response to this question.
Thank you, Honorable. Obviously, India, Australia are important player, one of the crucial player in the Indo-Pacific region, and they form a Quad group along with the US and Japan. On the bilateral basis, with Australia, we enjoy from long time ago, we enjoy a very friendly and close relationship with Australia. And India, obviously, we enjoy the same status. And since India's role in the Indo-Pacific is growing over the years, our relationship is becoming more crucial with India. In the context of Quad grouping, but has some functional subgroups where we discuss other functional issues like technology, like economic security, and Korea is trying to expand our cooperation with Quad groups through the channel of Quad functional subgroups. I don't have concrete statistics on the trade volume or investment volume with India or Australia, but they are actually major economic partner with Korea. So overall, I can say that we've been a partner, natural partner for a long time in the economic sense, and more and more in the political and diplomatic sense. Thank you.
Ci sono altri interventi?
Are there any other remarks? Onorevole Bidi? Thank you, Onorevole Formentini, and thank you, Ambassador. I would like to ask you, Ambassador, if considering that your country is one of the most advanced in terms of technology, and considering your relations not only with our country but also with other countries including China, if we consider the microchip and semiconductor sector, which is highly impactful today and will be in the future, how are you considering dealing with this with this market, with this sector, if we consider the fact that there was a drop in export with China to China on microchips last year? Do you believe European countries, EU countries can help out from this point of view? And what is your standpoint in the long term on your technological position? Thank you, and I would also ask if there are any other colleagues who are connected remotely, if they would like to ask questions. We have Onorevole Orsini. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ambassador. We met a few months ago, and we had a very interesting conversation. Now, this worrying but also interesting framework that you've depicted links back to an increase in aggression and threats by North Korea in recent months. I would like to know what you think, based on your analysis. I would like to know how you consider this increased threat by North Korea and where it comes from. Is it trying to take advantage of the fact that the Western countries are occupied and involved in on other fronts, so the Middle East, Russia, and Ukraine, and is distracted by these events? Or is it rather the projection of internal problems that North Korea is trying to use propaganda, nationalistic propaganda, to illustrate the difficult conditions that its people are living? My personal opinion is that we are currently dealing with what Pope Francis defined a global war, a fragmented global war. That is my opinion. And my second question is, how impacted is Korea by the naval routes and trade in the South China Sea by terrorists and other aggressors, considering the overall situation in the Middle East. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Orsini, and Ambassador. Back to you for a reply.
Thank you, Honorable Orsini. Good to hear you, even though I cannot see you. So let me respond to Honorable Orsini's two questions first, and then come back to the first question. Concerning North Korea's continuous provocation, thanks for your very thoughtful assessment of current situation. Indeed, it's worrisome, and there has been debate whether this time would be different in interpreting North Korea's threat. Indeed, North Korea's threat has been there since the end of our civil war in 1950. So it's nothing new to Koreans. We believe this time, we don't know yet whether this time it would be different or not. In general, interpretation from inside has been that we should not exaggerate the threat this time. Indeed, partially their provocation might be influenced by the changing dynamics in the global geopolitical scenes. Two wars in Middle East and Ukraine that affect North Korea's decision-making process, obviously, and the link between Russia and North Korea and Hamas and North Korea. The intelligence we acquire from various sources identify that there has been some links between those two groups. So the emboldening North Korean provocation might have been influenced by the changing dynamics in the world. And other things we might want to take into consideration would be the elections in US and probably in Korea. In Korea in April, there's going to be a general election where we elect National Assembly members, which is very important for Korean politics. So one way for North Korea is to influence South Korean public opinions. That's another reason. Internal purpose, we do not see quite clearly whether this is coming from internal purpose, because there has been general consensus that the current leader, Kim Jong-un, has securely acquired his position in North Korea. And we didn't see unusual turbulence or instability inside North Korea. So we don't see any unusual reason for North Korea to become much more provocative this time around. So probably mostly influenced by the outside factors. We are dealing with North Korea with the under the 3D principles. Number one, deterrence. Obviously, we should be prepared for any kind of provocation or aggression on the part of North Korea with overwhelming force. based upon U.S.-Korea military alliance, which has been steady and strong for the last 7 decades. So South Korea and U.S., we are prepared for any kind of aggression on the part of North Korea. And dissuasion, we try to dissuade North Korea from taking this road any further. We think North Korea believe that acquiring nuclear capability or miscapability will ensure the long-term survival of North Korea and the country, the people. But that's not simply true. North Korea needs to open its border, needs to open its economy, so that free flow of goods and people, that will help enhance North Korean people's lives. So we try to dissuade through UN sanctions and alliance sanctions that North Korea should stay away from any risky provocation. Third, dialogue. We are open to dialogue at all time with no conditions attached. If North Korea is willing to come to the negotiating table. So we are open to that. So based upon these 3D principle, we are currently dealing with North Korea. The prospect is not very good given the election coming and ever deteriorating world dynamics. And how much Korea is impacted by the naval route this turbulence. Obviously, Korea is heavily dependent upon external trade. Our trade proportion compared to GDP is over 90%. It's comparable to Italy's. So we depend upon foreign exchange and naval security of naval routes, where mostly cargo or ship is flowing, is extremely important for Korea. But so far, Korean shipping may not be significantly influenced by the current incidents, attacks conducted by Houthi rebel in Yemen. But we are watching the situation with grave concern, and we are ready to cooperate with our international allies and friends to make sure the sea routes should be open to all countries. And the first question concerning, yes, chip, semiconductor. This is one of the concerns we are, like other major global players like US and European Union, Italy including, watching very closely with grave attention and concern. It's because semiconductor technology will be still remain and stay as the all-purpose technology for the future, including adoption to AI. And the major concern has been that somehow chip supply chain have been properly diversified to ensure that chip production and supply and and use can be securely conducted for the future. What I mean by that is that the high-tech chip has been produced by certain region in proportionally high level of dependence on certain region is a global risk for everyone. And while Korea is trying to continue to develop its chip technology, semiconductor technology, to maintain its status as one of the global leader in this sector, at the same time we are trying to diversify our chip supply chain so that geopolitical risk should not negatively impact the future flow of semiconductors. This should be the subject for all major global players, including European Union and Italy. And I'm sure there are future opportunities. Current discussions are on the way, and future opportunities for Korea and European partners to further discussion in this area. Let me stop here. Thank you.
Grazie davvero,
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your in-depth response. I don't see any other questions by my colleagues, but I will add a comment. As you've mentioned, this year we will be celebrating the 140th anniversary of Korea-Italy diplomatic relations. So we hope that this year we can give a new strength to our relations. And you've mentioned the fields where Italy and Korea are cooperating. You mentioned tourism with more than 1 million tourists, but more importantly, strategic cooperation and cooperation from an economic point of view. You also mentioned that Italy doesn't currently have a strategy for the Indo-Pacific, but part of the goal of this committee is to set up a context, a framework to contribute to an Italian strategy and vision for the Indo-Pacific. From a diplomatic standpoint, we've had very intense activities with, as you mentioned, President Mattarella visiting Korea, but also what the Morosini has done in the Indo-Pacific to promote Italy, and also in terms of the technological capabilities of Italy. We talk about the Indo-Pacific, we have to recall rules-based international order, as you mentioned, and this will be one of the topics discussed at the G7, as you mentioned. And the Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs mentioned here that that will be one of the priorities of the G7. Once again, all countries who believe in the value of democracy can work together to protect what is currently being threatened by aggressors and terrorists, which is free trade and navigation. Currently, we are witnessing two systems clashing, a rules-based order and a more authoritarian and authoritative regime, which is trying to impose a new system on a global level. So once again, we are for defending the status quo in the Indo-Pacific, and we hope that Korea can further cooperate with regional allies, but also with European countries and Italy. Thank you for your time.
Se non ci sono altre domande,
If there aren't any other comments or questions, I declare this hearing closed.